All right, well, we're just doing this because this week did not go at all like I planned. So, I want to stay on schedule. I'm holding myself to a schedule instead of just copping out and being like, well, the deadline you set for yourself passed. We're not being lazy. We're doing it. So here we are, doing the thing. Hi, how are you? How have you been since last month? I have actually had a very busy month, and there's been a lot of downtime, but like a lot of internal busyness, maybe is a good way to put it. Let me get my notes. So please bear with me. Please bear with me as you hear the noises of my youngest, who just turned 2 this last month, and Curious George in the background on the TV because she's into him right now. Lately it's been Curious George, Bluey. Everyone else in the household is getting tired of Bluey. It's been a staple for quite some time. And the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, like those after school type of like fun Disney shows for little ones. Been lots of that going on. Please bear with me. There is going to be noise. My baby is awake, and Curious George is on in the background, and the dishwasher's going because we were lazy last night and didn't take care of the dishes like we normally do. So we had to take care of them this morning. To the notes. Oh yeah. So my husband went to the ER. He hurt his rotator cuff. So that was a odd little escapade on a Sunday afternoon. He was trying to hang out with my son, who turns 13 today. It is my son's 13th birthday. I'm so happy for him. We're gonna have a nice little household get together, little family. He already got together with his friends. I am so happy to welcome my oldest, my sweet, sweet son, to his 13th cycle. So as far as what's been going on the past month since my last check-in, my youngest turned 2 at the beginning of this month. My oldest turns 13 today, as I mentioned. And yes, my father moved to town. He bought a house with my sister and her husband, and now he lives here. He came all the way from Texas. We are slowly going through his things and helping him declutter because he had a very large amount of space all to himself and his things, and now he is having to coexist in a smaller space. So that's been fun. It's been fun having him here. He's actually on his way here right now to drop something off. Like, they're literally up the street. So that's pretty cool. Mama. Yes, dear. My dad moved to town. My youngest turned 2. My oldest turns 13 today. My husband went to the ER because he messed up his rotator cuff falling off of a hoverboard. And we went to Oktoberfest. I don't know if you've seen the video I posted. I'm actually going to post 2 videos on Oktoberfest. One is listed as the Oktoberfest experience because I'm not putting a bunch of music over all of the videos. You actually get to hear the music that was playing while we were at Oktoberfest and like how loud it was, and just like, it's more of just the experience of like walking around and being in the crowd as a short person because I'm only 5'2". Luckily, I had a handheld tripod and I was actually able to hold my camera up and look over the crowd and actually get good video, because from my point of view, everyone's heads were like way above mine, and I was literally just like looking at shoulders and chests. So I did make my Oktoberfest experience video, and soon, probably coming up soon, I need to finish it up, but I made an Oktoberfest vlog where I'm actually sharing like more personal stuff of what I was doing to get ready, hanging out with the friends. More of my friends are involved in the videos. You get to see them. I cut a lot of that personal stuff out of the other one. So yeah, went to Oktoberfest this year, dressed up, had a great damn time. It was so much fun. So much fun. So I am actually drinking tea today in this lovely swan cup that says brave and free inside. It's really good. So let's see, this new moon, which was yesterday, was Scorpio. So Scorpio new moon all the way to next new moon, which is going to be in Sagittarius. But this is the collective reading for this new moon to next new moon. Creator air. All right, creator air. Air is connected to logic, critical thinking, and the energy of the mind. It is the ruler of luck, the conscious mind, and all the things you know to be true. Its realm is the realm of beliefs and analysis and communication. What would air suggest you need to know about your current situation? And how can you connect that to the cards in front of you? How could your communication play a role in the solution? How is the energy of the mind, rational thought, supporting you right now? There's notes on how to dive deeper into the element of air, playing with the wind, drinking the wind, feeling the wind. I really, really like this deck, the Sacred Creators deck. Oh, I'm sorry, the Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris Ann. It's beautiful. The cards are gorgeous. The box it came in is gorgeous. Just, I love the whole thing. The other thing I've been up to lately, which I'm also making, oh, I can't get in here. The other thing I've been making is these little witch hats, which I'm making a video on so that I have something to post on the first quarter moon, which is action. So I don't know about anyone else, but I have been feeling super crafty. I've been feeling a pull to just like make things, sew things, knit things. I've been having so many ideas for new things, and I just can't move fast enough to keep on creating all the things I'm coming up with. The other thing I'm working on is I'm trying to do something new this year, which is a New Year Purification Reconnection Protocol. I was very inspired by Sydney from Onyx Healing. I love her channel. I love her podcast, Sunday Messages. Beautiful information. She has been talking a lot about consumption fasting and her program Apex, and she goes into not a ton of detail, but enough detail that you can tell what's going on in the program and the container that she's created, and it sounds absolutely amazing. And so I've tried to create something on a smaller scale for myself because she's doing it for a group of people that she goes through with it, and this is really like my first time experimenting with anything like that. So I did do a consumption fast back in September for 2 weeks. Was it September or August? I'll have to look at my notes, but I did do a 2-week consumption fast, and it was my first one, and I was pretty hardcore with it. Like, I did not look at anything. I would say the thing I looked at the most was probably my email. I kept on checking my email out of boredom, which was weird because I really wasn't allowing myself to go on any social media. I was only allowing myself to use YouTube, to watch Yoga with Adriene, or to put some kind of ambiance on in the background, like music or just scenery as like a nice screensaver. Hey, cutie. So this personally made mini consumption fast was pretty strict, and even though it was very short, it yielded a lot of results. I actually was able to find quiet in my mind, connected with my intuition very strongly during this time. It was very clear. It was very crisp, concise. Yeah, lots of ideas at this time, lots of journaling. I spent a lot of time finding stillness, which is something that I have trouble with, and focusing on aligning with ease. So that was my focus during that short period of time, and it was really amazing. I really liked it, and upon listening to more of Sydney's podcast and notes and other things that she's shared about it, I created one with more structure and an actual theme to follow along to. Sorry, there's lots of movement because I've got a little one on me right now. We're settling down before nap time. Aren't we? Yeah. Other side? Other side. So I created a more structured version of what I did the first time, and I actually went with a theme. This month's theme for October was in an effort to get me in the kitchen more, because I want to start cooking and meal prepping a lot more. It's something I've been aiming to do for a long time, and I feel like each time I come back to it, I make a little more progress. So I really wanted to build a healthy relationship between myself and my food and the kitchen, and just like my mind around food and nutrition and meal prep and all the things. So this last month has actually been pretty awesome. I've been rooting myself on. I've been taking lots of notes. I've been very truthful with myself when I do my weekly check-in. I have been consuming, media-wise, I've been consuming a lot more than I meant to this month. I think that I just tend to do that when I feel like I need relaxation. I just go to the TV or a podcast or something, and I was doing a lot of it under the guise of research, like, oh, I'm just watching this because I want more information on something. But then it would just, as I know I do, it snowballs into more and more things, and one thing leads to the next, and one video leads to like 5 videos, because I am an information hound. I love research and information, and sometimes I just really get into this zone. Yeah, are you in the zone? And here we are in my daughter's room, because my husband came home and he does not like being on camera. So I'm being respectful of his wishes, and we are continuing elsewhere because we're going to finish this. So I pulled cards for the collective from the Sacred Creators Oracle. It was a beautiful message. It actually coincided really, really nicely with Sydney's cosmic weather forecast for November. So definitely check that out. I am pulling, this is what I was called to pull for an everyone message. And I'm pulling for myself because this is what I was called to pull for me, from the Animal Spirit deck from Kim Crayons. She has a couple of decks out and they're all gorgeous. This is my favorite one and the one that I like using the most. There's actually only 2 decks that I actually keep in silk, and I only have these silks because they are some of the few minuscule items that I have left from my grandmother, and magically somehow these have been traveling around with me. Honestly, I think it's because they were wrapped around my tarot decks, that those were like important items for me to grab, so they definitely made it out of the house when I was grabbing stuff to get the heck out. Alright, this is my message for this new moon of Scorpio, moving towards the next new moon that will be in Sagittarius. Ooh. Unicorn. Fuck yeah. Alright, we got the guidebook here. This is back in the spirit section. It's not within the other elements. Reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. Ooh, that's actually what I've been working on with trying to get through my consumption fast and heal my relationship with food in the kitchen. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago? The mind answers, maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for the answers. The unicorn and the sixth chakra. So, 6. It's no surprise the subtle essence of the unicorn resides at the third eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called the Ajna chakra, or command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. Some say our two eyes see the past and present, while this third eye peers into the future. So obviously this check-in is very jumbled. I did have notes. I did half-assed planning. I did some serious planning and then a lot of half-assed planning, and a bunch of things got away from me. Like, my husband isn't usually home all the time, but since he injured himself this week, he was home all week long. And it's not to say that I couldn't find time to record, it's just I didn't really feel the pull or the inspiration because he needed my help. He needed more attention than he normally does because there were a lot of things that he could not do for himself or should not be doing, and knowing him, he would have tried to do them if I wasn't there watching and doing them for him. So yeah, I needed to take care of my husband last week, so it's understandable. I am being gentle with myself and understanding. However, I am also not giving myself a free pass to just drop the ball on what I want to do for myself. So I am here checking in this month like I want to. Continuing with the consumption fast, like I said, it has been very jumbled. The consumption fast portion, so let me get my notes. The consumption fast portion of my protocol that I'm trying to initiate this time, since it's a lot longer, I think I had a harder time staying focused because the end goal was so far away. So I definitely need to work with smaller periods of time. I think instead of trying to push it to 2 months after doing it for 2 weeks, I should have just tried for 1 month. So since I have been consuming this entire month and haven't stopped, I've literally found it almost impossible to stop myself. Like, I find myself doing it, I consciously notice what I'm doing and recognize that it's not what I want to be spending my time on, yet I'm still compulsively doing it. So this month has actually been a nice little reflection on what sucks me into things, what's the best routine to keep me on track with the things that I want to be focusing on at that time. So yeah, just been finding a lot of ins and outs in how I function and how my consumption plays a role in my functioning. So I'm giving myself a pass for the month of October for my consumption fast failings. We're just gonna call this my learning month. I was learning what was hard for me to do and where I need to have strict boundaries, because that has really brought it up to in my face, like, oh, okay, I obviously have problems with this, so this needs to have strict sets of rules around it and how I operate around it if I would like it to be to my benefit. We are actually on week 4 of my New Year's Purification Reconnection. It started on October 1st. I've been doing a weekly check-in with myself while I reconnect with my intentions and make sure that I'm either on track or making adjustments where needed. I did start scripting. Oh, that was interesting. I forgot that my daughter has a watch that goes off every hour. I did start scripting in week 3, which I just wrote out. I don't know if positive affirmation is the right word for it, but I just wrote out maybe like a tiny journal entry of just like a love rampage about how much I love being in the kitchen and meal prepping and how easy food is for me. And as I was just writing all those things down, I love this, I love this, I love this, from a place of it already existing, I kept that script because it was really awesome and it just flowed from an intentional place. And then I also recorded myself reading it out loud. And I've been practicing with listening to myself reading it out loud while visibly reading it on the screen. So listening and reading it at the same time. And it's in my voice. So I think that's making a huge impact. Honestly, it's been so simple to keep my kitchen clean. And that used to be the hardest thing for me. But I've just been aligning myself with this energy of simplicity and ease and just how effortless things are for me, especially dealing with the kitchen and food. Like, food is just effortless. And I think that has helped me so much. Keeping the kitchen clean has been such a breeze. Like, it's not even a thing to wash dishes anymore, even if I have to do it by hand. It used to be such a chore. Like, I would just like sit there and ruminate about all the things that other people didn't do. And now I'm just easily able to fall into a place of, well, this needs to get done, and now it's done, and now we can move on. And keeping my kitchen clean regularly. So let me show you my notes. So I have October and November listed out. I've got things that I want to try and focus on more. And so like my yoga or reading or decluttering or breath work or meditation. I have started scripting in week 3. So the first 2 weeks was focusing on consumption fasting, but it was, for me this month, I really just found where I need strong boundaries around consumption. My first week was focused on a clean kitchen. I was really just making it simple, take care of the kitchen every night before bed, wake up to a clean kitchen. That was the focus that week. So I took notes on how that worked out for me, and then in my weekly check-in, I wrote intentions for the coming week and where I could improve. Week 2 was meal planning, and because this is such a huge stressor for me, I did not focus on making a meal plan. I literally made it just about finding a place in my schedule where meal planning fits in. It had to be simple or I was not going to do it. Took more notes on my weekly review and the intentions I set for myself for the coming week. Week 3 was meal prepping, and it was small. It was like prep one thing a week. You don't even have to like keep up to these crazy standards that I'm trying to set for myself, because I set very high standards. there's nothing wrong with having high standards, but I find that when I set a high standard, I start piling a bunch of things onto the standard because it's so high. I'm like, I should be able to reach all these. I need to just like slow it down. Like someone else I follow, I want to say Emmy, sustainable vegan. She talks a lot about building and changing habits, and one of the books that she read that I really want to check out is Atomic Habits. I forget the author, I need to look it up. But it's all about making small, like micro improvements. It's not about taking a large step. It's about turning yourself in the right direction and continuing in the right direction. Because if I make it too hard for myself, I'm not going to keep doing it. So, small steps. 1 item of meal prep a week. Even though I do keep on making large plans for myself, I am at least hitting the goal of 1 meal prep item a week. So I can celebrate that as a small win because that's something I have not been able to do in the past. This week I am building a seasonal menu. I did start a small list. I just sectioned out autumn, winter, spring and summer. I wrote the months that I associate with those seasons, and then I just started writing down my favorite things that I love to have during those times of year. I'm not stressing myself on building an entire recipe book this week. That's just insane. But if I could take a moment to just focus on the foods that I enjoy and then actually contemplate what types of foods I enjoy in which seasons, because I do follow a pattern and a cycle, I've realized after tracking my food for a few years now. And there are different times of year where I'm more focused on tracking what I'm eating than others. So that's been really interesting to log down as well. So that's where I'm at. I'm not being hard on myself about the consumption fast this month. I am taking this month as my training and my redefining and adjusting and possible reprogramming. And I'm going to move into November with a consumption fast because damn, if I needed it any time of year, November is definitely the month for sure. So coming this November, there will be a consumption fast. And even though I'm not going to be consuming things the way that I have been, all the TikTok and the Instagram and the YouTube, I will still be creating. And that's something that I'm excitedly looking forward to, because when I did my first consumption fast, a lot of creativity came out of that. A lot of energy came out of that. And just beautiful things have kept rolling forward since I started that. And I agree with Sydney. This is definitely something that you should come back to throughout certain parts of the year. So I'm finding which parts of the year are calling for me to have mini cleanses or just like declutterings or just a sit-in, a reconnection, just a reconnection. I'm really finding this to just be a reconnection process. And I'm finding which times of year that I feel I really need it or feel called to it, and what that time of year is calling forth from me to work on. My main focus is my relationship with food. This month of October and the month of November, I am focused on my relationship with food and where I have limiting beliefs and where I have damaging stories that are just like patterning and cycling around inside my head. It's been easier to hear the thoughts that come up and listen to them without judgment and see them as an observer. Also, November is the month that we would celebrate my mom's birthday, and this is going to be our first year without celebrating my mom's birthday with her. I have decided to celebrate it in a new way, and I really truly believe that she'll appreciate this. I have decided to find something to be generous about, or someone to be generous with each year around my mom's birthday. And this can morph and change into things as the years continue on. But this year I am taking a friend of mine out for her birthday, which is really close to my mom's birthday. So I feel like my mom would love that. She was a very generous person. As much as she had her little things and her weird quirks around certain things, she was a very generous person at heart. She loved sharing and giving. And I think that is honestly the best way that I can honor her memory, is just to continue the energy and process of generosity and sharing and giving. And yeah, it makes me feel good. Honestly, when the thought came to mind, I was like, yes, Mom would love that. So, in honor of my mother's birthday, I am going to do something generous for someone else. I believe that is it. I feel like I've been talking forever, and I have moved so many locations and been distracted by so many different things. So moving forward into the next month, maybe I'll just share what I'm building in the kitchen through the next month so that you know where I'm headed. So this week is building seasonal menus. The following week, week 5 of my reconnection protocol, I guess, is building energetic menus. And this is all about lazy meals and low energy meals, and listing out favorite healthy quick meals or favorite places to eat that don't make us feel like garbage. Week 6 is where I'm going to start incorporating weekly baking into my schedule. It's like the first week of November, and I want to start making bread again. I used to make bread all the time before the fire, and I just haven't really felt the draw to be in the kitchen until very recently. And I did on a whim go out and buy myself a giant bread bowl, but then I didn't have a tabletop or a surface. And then my father so generously bought us a butcher block table, and that is the perfect place to make bread. Perfect height, perfect surface, perfect everything. So I have the bowl, I have the surface, I have the ingredients, I have a giant tub of flour, because we buy it by like the 50-pound bag, because that's the kind of family we are, especially when we're into baking. And I want to start making bread weekly again. Week 7 is, I have titled For the Love of Food, and it is really just about me creating ceremony around preparing and cooking and consuming. So really just getting that more personal intention part around food. All these other parts I feel are just like the more mechanical, keeping the kitchen clean, keeping my thoughts around food at certain times throughout the week, preparing food at certain times throughout the week, building a menu so that it's easier to create these foods throughout the week. And then week 8, which is the last week, I have titled Romancing My Food, where I am just going to explore and experiment and like literally date myself by making myself delicious meals for an entire week, and like just gift myself that. And then the very last week of November, which is not a full week, it's just from November 26th to the 30th, it is completion. It is celebration week. I am literally just going to celebrate myself for all that I have accomplished and continue forward with the momentum that I have created these last 2 months, and not like taking a vacation or a break once this is over. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to move forward and reintroduce consumption the last 2 weeks of November as well, but mindful consumption with healthy, strong boundaries. And yeah, I'm just going to keep moving forward with the love of the relationship that I have built for myself with food. And yeah, that just feels really wonderful, especially moving into December, which is always a hard month for me. December has always been a hard month for me in food because ever since I became vegan, a lot of things became hard, and ever since I decided to relax on the veganism when I'm eating out with family members or just allowing myself to just enjoy food and not put so many strict boundaries around it. Ooh, my phone's getting low on battery. Let's finish this up. December's always been a hard month for me. So I feel if I take the month of October and the month of November to become mindful about food and consumption and my relationship to food, I feel that December is gonna fucking rock this year. I look forward to seeing you again next month when I check in again at the next new moon. But until then, I'm going to keep on making my crafty videos, my stretching videos, my journal videos, just my videos, things that excite me and light me up and hopefully are helping other people build momentum towards the things that they want to create as well. So, yeah, until next month, take care of yourself, keep loving yourself, have a good time, and remember, we're here for the fun of it. So enjoy yourself. Bye. As my daughter likes to say, bye.